Thank you.
So we are doing our Discuss the Bible broadcasts, and we do that every Wednesday night. And so I'm glad that we can have a chance to do that. We've been going through a discussion of the book of Proverbs, and so I'm going to just put my phone on mute because I don't want to get disturbed. And so we've been going through a discussion on the book of Proverbs, or at least in general, or various topics from the book of Proverbs. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We'll be wrapping up our discussion on teachability, and I have two guests with me tonight. And so, hello, ladies. How you doing? So,
Good.
good to see you. I have to figure out where to wave.
True.
So how has your weeks been going, or the past week for you folks?
Fast.
Yeah. So Nikki is a grandma again, but and she has a new grandbaby. And so Val, a lot of you know Val from our broadcasts when we were doing Discuss the Chosen. So he's kind of like now has become the babysitter.
He's the nanny.
The nanny.
Yep.
That's cool.
Mr. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire. And it's going to be like that too, I tell you. It's going to be crazy.
He's much better looking than Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right.
That's good. So we've been talking about teachability, and it says someone has said your teachability index determines your success. That's not only true with respect to your professional success, but also your personal and relational successes throughout life. Learn more about teachability in this study of Proverbs. So last time we ended at question number 5. Is that correct?
No, 6.
6? Which
We're
one?
starting 6.
Yeah. We're starting 6.
Oh, we're starting 6. You think I would pay attention to these things? But, oops. Oh, man, there we go. Okay. According to Proverbs 29:1, what danger do we have if we are not teachable?
I can hear you.
Somebody read that for us, please.
Whoever remains stiff-necked after many rebukes will suddenly be destroyed.
Okay.
Without remedy.
And that without remedy. So, if we remain stubborn after many rebukes, so what that means is that we're not teachable. Mm-hmm. That suddenly we will be destroyed or broken. It says, in that without remedy. You see that a lot in addicts' lives.
Mm-hmm.
Or people who are following along a course of action that's not healthy. I'm not talking about just physical health. I'm talking about emotional health or relational health, and that we typically think of addicts with respect to substances, but you can also be addicted to anger. And there's a passage of scripture in the book of Proverbs that, let me just read it here, and it comes to my mind as we're talking about this, and it's Proverbs 19:19, and it says this: hot-tempered people must pay the penalty. If you rescue them once, you will have to do it again. So that's a good passage of scripture that kind of reminds us not to be codependent. Go ahead and let people experience the consequences for their bad temper. Because if you're cleaning up their messes, go ahead.
It's so hard to do, It's hard, especially, on the mom side of things, or being the one who wants everything to be peaceful. I find myself often just stepping in just for the sake of the peace, but it's never stops. It's over and over and over again.
Yeah. And sometimes, and particularly when we are codependent, is that we're really at the end of the day, we're not doing it for the other person's benefit, because if we were
Exactly.
doing it for the other person's benefit,
Exactly.
we would let them experience the consequences.
Exactly.
But instead, we're doing it for our own comfort. We are emotionally, you know, disturbed. Probably are emotionally disturbed, but we're emotionally disturbed by the disruption in the family or whatever else. We don't like it. We like peace, so that so we're trying to bring about the peace. We end up being peacekeepers rather than peacemakers.
That's right.
So
Right.
Lorene.
Lorene, go ahead.
I know, like for me, is like I'm stinking rebellious. That's what I call myself inside, because I don't want to be taught anything. I want to just no, I want it, and thank goodness God has just I don't know what point he would give up or whatever, but it's like I'm so glad he's so gracious with me because of my stubborn heart. So I feel like I want to be teachable, but boy, tell me what to do, and mom got my ruffles up, and I'm not doing it that way, and anyway, so I know I'm stubborn in my heart, and I'm just so glad God has kept teaching me and opening my heart. Eventually I'll do the right thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, that's so true. That's in my life, when I think about it, when I think about the measure of grace that God is going to have to extend in my life to accept me into glory. And we oftentimes think, "Oh, you're not that bad," or whatever. Yeah, okay, we could play that game, but that's kind of like a non-starter.
If you're human, you're going to need grace.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think a lot of times we tend to minimize the nature of our sin, and we tend to think about sin like murder or rape, or whatever. We tend to think about sin as crimes, but being unloving and being unkind and being having ill thoughts towards people, and, gossiping, being stubborn and not teachable.
How about grumpy?
How about grumpy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out.
It's like I asked Janice the other day. I said, "Do you always wake up grumpy?" And she said, "No. Sometimes I let him sleep in." That's good enough.
Good job.
Okay. All right.
Good dad joke.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good dad joke. So, okay. Read the following scriptures. What advantages come with teachability? So let's go around the circle, and we'll start with Nikki at 10:17, then Lorene 13:18, Janice 15:31, and you might as well do 15:32 since you're there.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Nikki.
Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray.
Okay. What's the advantage there that comes with teachability?
You won't get lost.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be lost. As stubborn as I am, I don't want to be lost.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I want to listen to correction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, he talks about in that passage about our influence on others, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says that that if we listen to instruction, we won't lead others astray.
Yeah.
That's an important thing. I saw a little let me see if I can find it on my phone. But I saw a little Facebook meme I really liked, and I posted it on my site today. And let me just see if I can find it here. It says, this is from Focus on the Family, and it says, your influence as a parent will never go away. So that gives us, it's an important job. It's one of those things where it's always going to have an impact on our children, So, all right, Lorraine, Proverbs 13:18, please.
Refuse discipline and end up homeless. Embrace correction and live an honored life.
There you go. So, what's the advantages that come with teachability?
Honored life.
An honored life.
The honor. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Janice, Proverbs 15:31 and 32, please.
Okay, 31. Whoever listens to a warning that gives life will be at home among those who are wise. That's the first one.
Okay.
Those who turn away from correction hate themselves, but anyone who accepts correction gains understanding.
Alrighty. So what's the advantages? Well, according to verse number, what was it,
31.
Yeah.
That it gives you life, and then you'll be considered wise.
Yeah. Not really. The only way you get to wisdom is through listening to wise people and following their counsel. So.
Yeah.
But
I liked how the message on that
Yeah.
last verse 32, it says, a God-willed life is spacious. And I really like that the opposite was puny, is if you don't, you'll have a puny life, but if you do, you'll have a spacious life. And I like that. It didn't say a grand life. It didn't say a rich life. It just said a spacious life. And I like that idea of being, being room. There's room in your life for whatever.
room for all the blessings that God will give you.
Yeah.
So, I do believe that living a life of faithfulness is truly living a rich life.
I agree.
Because I think that we have the wrong estimation of wealth.
I agree.
It's having a relationship with God first and foremost. There's nothing in the world, no amount of money in the world that can buy that. And then all of the other kind of spin-offs that go with that. When you're walking with the Lord, there's plenty of other spin-offs that go with that. Okay. All right. Number 8. It says read Proverbs 27:6. Talk about how trusted friendships with other people can bless your life if you're teachable. What does that say, Janice?
Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy kisses you many times. I'm going to look and see what it says in the message. 27:6.
So,
The wounds from a lover are worth it. Kisses from an enemy do you in.
yep. So, wounds from a friend. How about in your life? Have you ever had those types of friendships where people can speak hard truths into your life? Yeah. It's good to have those people in our lives, right? So.
Yeah, I have a couple that just I don't even know. Looking back, I don't even know what I'd do without them. Without those words that said, you look like you're giving up, or do you think that's really the right way to go, or calling me accountable to something I said I would do, and I really love those people in my life. And during the Celebrate Recovery years, all those years, I was always in groups, and so I was always meeting different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would choose those people. I can just name them on my hand. The people I chose that didn't think like me, that weren't raised the way I was,
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't come to the Lord till later. They had they had struggles, more harder struggles to me than I did, and I just I wanted those people around me because for one thing, you always know where you stand with people who are straightforward. Like, and I like knowing, I goofed there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really blew it on that one. Anyway, so I personally have loved having that little group of friends around me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. I don't know what I'd do without them.
Yeah. 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 Wounds from a friend can be trusted. So Janice is that friend in my life. So sometimes it takes me a little bit of while, a little bit of time to get over those wounds, but but I try to make those short cycles.
Oh.
So talking.
I think my sister is one that speaks truth to me too.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, even my friends, probably don't really.
Well, you got some of your friends right here. Next time
They haven't been, they don't lie to me.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that I've ever been said, are you really doing what you should be doing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really.
You say what?
I don't really like when I'm being told that. Like I said,
No.
I have a step.
No, I don't like it either.
I don't like it either, but most people don't. Even my really good friends that I can think of don't really say anything like that. But my mom and my sister have no problem.
Yeah. So, okay. Thinking as we're kind of hanging on to this concept of friendship for a moment, it says here in number 9, how might you develop more trusted friendships in your life? So the type of friends who can tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it. How might you be able to develop those?
I think sharing real stuff, being honest. I think that's hard sometimes because you don't want people to know the real you. So I think it's important, though, to really risk it. It's hard, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty risky because it's like you have to kind of sort of test the water just a little bit because you want someone who can hold your stuff safely, and to get that, like you said, Nikki, it is risky because you have to put yourself out there first, and then you might get burned.
Mm-hmm.
That's no fun either, but at least like if your friend burns you, at least you know. But I would say, ask God to help you find them because
Yeah.
if you're not even open to someone being there, then you never, just you can ask God to help you, and I truly believe He will help you find some ones that will help you.
And I think it can be helpful to define the relationship.
Yep.
So, in other words, right up at the front, say, Joe, the type of friends that I really value are people who feel comfortable about talking to me about things that I need to hear. And so I'm giving you permission to do that in my life. And so anytime that there's something that is a difficult topic that we need to cover, let's do it, and that and I welcome your input. And so having people like that in your life. Lorene.
Well, I was thinking another way too is to watch or listen to the silences. Like if you can a room or in a car with someone and it not be uncomfortable when nobody's talking. I think
Mhm.
that's a good thing. I mean, there's the whole
Mhm.
thing, oh, they're not listening. I understand all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah.
can kind of test that out by, are they uncomfortable with silence? Can there be silence and be fine with each other and just pick right up on the next conversation? That one's a big telltale one to me because I know a lot of people cannot be silent. They're always talking, and I like to notice that one.
Mhm.
One of
Yeah,
the
that's a
things
good one.
that they teach us when I went through my training for my master's in life coaching is that one of the sayings that they constantly drilled into us was that let the silence do the heavy lifting.
Mm.
So a lot of times we're uncomfortable when another person's silent, and so and of course the whole thing that drives coaching is learning how to ask powerful questions. And so the idea is to ask the question and then just let it sit, and marinate. So
I was talking to my mom on the phone the other day. I talk to my mom on the phone like at least 3 or 4 times a week, and she's 89. And she was talking and talking one day. Sometimes she just talks and I just listen because she can't hear me. And she is just going on and on and on and on and on. Usually talks for about an hour, hour and a half. And she's like, well, I don't really have anything else to say, so I'm probably going to hang up. She goes, but I just really like to talk. And I'm like,
Aw.
she does. And I think I got that from her because I just really like to talk. I like to talk with people, and I think my
Lori,
problem
did you
is
get the short straw
I
when
know.
you married me?
I know. It's like so lonely, when we started working at home together 10 years ago, that it's the two of us here all day and he doesn't talk. He doesn't really even listen. So whenever I'm around people, I tend to talk a lot. And I think that I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it's pretty easy for me to be real and to share my life with most anyone I talk to. And maybe that's not a good thing because maybe I, talk too much and share too much or whatever. But
I don't think so.
I think that maybe like a lot of people that I talk to say, well, you're a pastor's wife. Like they don't normally talk to us or, and they're even kind of like tell you when you're a pastor's wife, you really can't have friends at church because, you might hurt somebody's feelings if one person's your friend and the other people aren't and stuff like that, which I always thought was crazy. You should be friends with everyone, right? And I know that on staff at our other church, we got really close. And Lorene was one of the people I was really close with. And, we kind of all, I don't think we ever said it, but we just all did this. We never hung out at church, ever. We didn't sit together. We didn't talk together. We didn't anything. We just went around and talked to everybody else because that's what we needed to do,
I never
Got
even
your
thought
fill of
about
talk.
that. I thought you guys hang out like that.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah, we were pretty close. And I even remember with my friend Sharon that we both had kids that were coming up, in the youth group. So we'd often be sitting around waiting. And I remember even she and I had decided that when we went to retreats and stuff, that it was okay for us to be with other people, that we wouldn't just each other. And
Mm-hmm.
a purposeful thing. And I think it worked good. I mean, on staff, you just know stuff. Like you're in the stuff and you know stuff so much together. That it's probably a little dangerous maybe to hang around too much. Because, oh man, I remember sometimes our staff dinners and stuff, we would just be hooting and hollering because we all understood what was going on.
I
Uh,
know.
oh God.
We got kicked out a couple times.
Oh,
People probably thought we were drinking.
well, they did. We always just like, oh, we're from Harvest.
that's funny. So, Well, ladies, I appreciate you guys spending some time with us on for these Bible studies. That's what I meant.
It's been really good, guys.
Yeah.
Really good.
It has been fun.
Excuse me.
And so,
I got to quote something. What is it that you said, Carrie? When I change, things change. Or
yeah,
I said
everything changes when I change.
everything changes when I change. So I got to share that at work today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, in our relationships, I mean, we tend to we're holdouts oftentimes in our relationships. Providing a little context with that idea is that so we and I learned this after I really a slow learner in the ministry. I really was. I mean, it's it's so much that they don't teach you in Bible college or whatever, and you just have to learn. And
They didn't know.
well, but yeah, but then a lot of it is that that you're just not you're equipped for certain things, but really not for most things, and I began to see a pattern emerging when couples would come into and I've talked about, and you guys have heard this a million times, but when couples would come to me for counseling, and I already knew what the problem was before they would walk through the door. And the problem was as well, the wife will say, well, if he'd only change, everything would be okay. And then the husband is thinking, well, if she only changed, everything would be okay.
Yeah.
But everything changes when you change. And getting back to that, by the way, tying that back into a verse that we used earlier on to help maybe clarify the idea is the Proverbs 19:19 verse, where it says, rescue, and I'm going to fill in some extra stuff here, but it says, if you rescue an angry person, you're going to only have to do it again. So go ahead and let them experience the consequences. And then, and it will be to their benefit. And so you stop and think about it. The angry person, who has the problem? Well, really the answer is that you do. Even though the angry person has the problem, you have the problem because you're rescuing him. And so everything changes when I change.
I know.
Lorraine.
I know. For me, I don't like that. I don't like that I have to be the one that changes when they're the one that needs to change. But it has changed my life. It has changed my relationship, especially like with my husband. It's like, I'm the one that had to do all the work. No fair. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's worth it every time because I'm happy. Like I am truly happy. There's times, of course, but overall, I have to be the one that changes because I can't change anybody else. I can't even change myself. It's like, but I'm the one that has to do the work. It's not fair, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah. I remember in my previous church that I preached a message once, and I talked. I made the statement that it's not my job to make you happy. Talking about in a relationship, it's not my job to make you happy, and my job is to treat you right. But my job is not to make you happy. Boy, did I catch so much flack from that. And particularly from the ladies. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not the husband's job to make the wife happy? Yeah, well, get over it.
Well, I mean, it is your job to love your wife as Christ loved the church, so that probably would make her happy.
Maybe not. You never know.
Maybe not.
You'd be a weird woman who wouldn't want to be loved that much.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap this up for tonight. We're going to be changing up our program for the next few weeks through the holiday season. And so we'll get back to our regular discussions on starting in January, because I just realized it's just not going to work with the craziness of the schedule. But I'm still planning on making posts during this hour. And so you'll just have to kind of wait and see what those will look like.
And in January, The Chosen's supposed to be out again, right?
No.
Oh.
I've been following it. I don't know all of the details, but I think that no, just slow down. Slow your roll. I think it's supposed to, like around February 10th, I think is when it's supposed to come out. And then it will be out.
One episode a week?
No, it'll be out for 2 weeks in theaters.
Oh.
Before, so it won't be probably until later in February that it is actually on TV.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, I'm interested to see how that develops.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you again for all you do. I appreciate you both. So
We appreciate.
okay. Good. Thank you. So, all right, guys. So we're going to talk a little bit more about important topics on Wednesday nights, and so we'll be developing those as we go along. And if you want to drop in for what we got going on this Sunday, is that I'm going to be sharing, continue to share from the series that I'm doing in the life of David, and that is the message. The title for this Sunday's message is Navigating Life When Others Turn Against You. That's navigating life when others turn against you. And I think that probably most of you have been in that space where people have turned against you. And so we're going to be talking about how to manage our lives when things go upside down for us like that. So that's all for now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.